The idea of an SHTF scenario is no longer just an end-of-the-world crazy theory of doomsday preppers and survivalists. With natural disasters, economic instability, global pandemics becoming increasingly common, the possibility of a catastrophic event that disrupts our way of life long term seems more plausible than ever. However, despite the growing awareness of these potential threats, the reality is that most people are woefully unprepared to survive such an event. Today, I'm going to show you just a few of the critical gaps in knowledge and skills that many people have, which could significantly lower their chances of survival. The illusion of preparedness. The average person may believe they're somewhat prepared for a disaster. After all, many households have a stockpile of food and water, a first aid kit, and maybe even some basic tools. However, survival in a true SHTF scenario requires much more than just supplies. It demands a deep understanding of a wide range of skills, many of which are complex and require hands-on experience. The reality of medical emergencies. Consider the simple yet crucial skill of setting a broken bone. In a world where professional medical help is readily available, few people take the time to learn how to properly set a fracture. But in an SHTF scenario, this knowledge could be the difference between recovery and permanent disability, or worse. Setting a bone incorrectly can lead to improper healing, chronic pain, or even life-threatening complications. Do you know how to align a bone correctly, immobilize it, and ensure it heals properly? Because most people don't. The complexity of food procurement and processing. Hunting and trapping are often romanticized as an easy, straightforward way of getting food. However, the reality is far more complex. Hunting requires an understanding of animal behavior, proficiency with weapons, and knowledge of tracking. Even if you successfully hunt an animal, processing the meat is another challenge. One wrong cut, like nicking the bowel, can contaminate the meat and make it unsafe to eat. Do you know how to properly skin, gut, and butcher an animal without ruining the meat? Once again, for most, the answer is no. The intricacies of herbal medicine. A lot of people think that they can just turn to nature for their medical needs, but herbal medicine is not as simple as it sounds. Identifying the correct plants, knowing which parts to use, and understanding proper preparation and dosages are critical. For instance, mistaking a toxic plant for a medicinal one can obviously have fatal consequences. Do you have the botanical knowledge and the practical experience to safely use herbs for medicine? Most people do not. The importance of proper food preservation. Stockpiling food is one thing, but preserving food for long-term storage is another. Skills like canning, dehydrating, fermenting, and smoking are essential for extending the shelf life of your food supply. Improper preservation skills can lead to spoilage and foodborne illnesses. Do you know how to create a vacuum seal when you're canning, or how to properly dehydrate fruits and vegetables to prevent mold in an SHTF situation without electricity? Most people lack these critical skills. Basic construction and maintenance skills. Survival often depends on your environment. Whether you're fortifying your home or you're building a shelter, basic construction skills are indispensable. This includes knowledge of carpentry, plumbing, and electrical work in some cases. A leaky roof or a broken pipe can become major problems in an SHTF scenario. Do you know how to repair these issues without professional help? Most people would struggle with these problems. The forgotten skills of basic necessities. In addition to the more obvious survival skills, there are numerous basic necessities that people have forgotten how to make themselves. Take vinegar. This versatile household staple is used for cooking, cleaning, and preservation, but how many people know how to produce it from scratch? Similarly, the ability to make soap, which is essential for hygiene, involves a detailed understanding of saponification, the chemical reaction between lye and fats or oils. Do you know how to produce these basic but essential items from raw materials? Do you know how to make lye and do it safely? This knowledge of these processes has largely been lost in modern society, leaving many unprepared to create what they need in a crisis. While it's easy to assume basic preparations will survive, the reality is that surviving an SHTF scenario requires a much broader and deeper set of skills. Recognizing these gaps in your own knowledge is the first step towards true readiness. It's not enough to have supplies. You also have to have the knowledge and the skills to use them effectively. And if you're unfamiliar with how to do any of the daily skills I've listed here, I would suggest you begin by researching them and also purchase books to walk you through the best ways to tackle each of these little known additional skills. Only by addressing these deficiencies can we hope to improve our chances of survival in an unpredictable and often unforgiving world.